نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Firstly to all brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's good, alive, Dallas is alive. Okay, let's quickly ask, how long have I got exactly?
Dhuhr's at 2, we can easily push it up 15 minutes.
So 2:15, and what time
We
is it right
can
now?
easily push it up. It's 1:15.
Oh, that's good. I've got it now. Just on the points that these brothers have made, they've made some wonderful points. I just want to do a quick start, and everything's going to come together, inshallah. Could you quickly think of a teacher in your life that you actually disliked? Let's think of. I don't want. One. Yeah, we might have many, and actually I've got many. So could you just think of one? I don't want any names. I don't want any institutes. I don't want any countries. I don't want anything. All I want you to think of the person. When everyone's got one, can you just put your hand up? Just put your hand up. Good. Just put your hand. To be honest, come on. Be honest. Good. Right now, I want you to think of a quality within that teacher you disliked. Can you start putting your hands up? I won't take random ones. So quality you dislike.
Harsh.
Harsh. What did you dislike?
Yeah, too strict. Harsh.
Strict. What do you dislike? Anyone else? Come on. Put your hands up. What do you dislike?
Not being able to connect.
Not being able to connect.
Always shouted, never smiled.
Always shouted, never smiled. Somebody else. Come. Somebody else. A different thing. Yes.
Impatient.
Impatience. Yeah.
Doesn't want to teach. The teacher doesn't want to teach.
Doesn't want to teach. Wow. That's good. Right? Punish.
Quick to punish.
Quick to punish. Yeah. Another person, please. Come on. There's no. Come on.
He does not have qualification to teach, but he's still teaching.
Oh yeah. He doesn't have the qualification to teach, but he's still teaching. You know, he's just placed there somehow. You know, he's like sitting there. Yo, what do I do here? Yes. Yeah, the technique wasn't there, methodology wasn't there. Come on, somebody else, different one. Come on, anybody else? There's no reward for the work. See? Okay, now, you heard all those things? I hope you took your notes down, right? I could actually easily go over there and, write these things down. Let me save this time, and let me now ask you, think of a teacher of yours or teachers that you actually liked. Think of one. Think of one, think of more. When you thought of one, hands up. Good. Now, let's start. What's the quality that you liked?
She was very caring.
Caring. Go on.
Kind.
Kind.
Motivating.
Motivating.
Friendly.
Friendly.
Interested in us.
Interested in us. Good. Next.
Humorous.
Humorous.
Listens to us.
Listens to us.
Encouraging.
Encouraging. Come on.
She was like on her own journey, so she shared that with us.
Wow. She was on her own journey. She shared it with us. Next verse.
Smiling.
Smiling. Wow. Sunnah. Yeah. One.
Gave us candy on Friday.
She gave us candy on Fridays. Yeah, that is actually something she remembers. Yeah, good. And somebody else, come on.
She didn't hit me.
Knowledge.
She didn't hit. Okay, you say stuff like
Knowledge.
knowledge. Yes. No. Wait. Hang on. Wait. Stop.
Shit.
Okay, yeah.
I find it offensive that everyone says she.
Mufti Kamal is like he's up in the game now. Can we have some he's? Have you? Whoever's got he's, put your hands up, please. He's. Okay, that's a good start. 10 of you. Whoever's got she, put your hands up. Right. Pretty much the same, Mufti. Come on. I think. Right. You know one thing. If you notice this, I don't know if you noticed this. Yeah. Did you see as we went through the room? When did knowledge actually come? Right at the end. Right? We got everyone to say different things. Very caring, kind, understanding us, listening to us, rewarding us, candy, blah, 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 blah. And then in the end comes knowledge. Did you see that? Now, I tell you what to do now. This is going to be maybe the big piece you can take today, which is, if that was us, unanimous here, we're unanimous that the ones that we disliked were harsh, that they criticized, they didn't have the knowledge, or they didn't understand us, there's no rapport, there's no reward, and the ones that we actually liked, these are all things, we're unanimous on this, right? Now you tell me, do you think the new generation are going to be any different to what they're seeing from us? This is the key thing that you take, which is, what am I doing to get this child to love me as a teacher. And then love me as a parent, you can extend it as they said earlier. What am I doing? So the thing is, when I'm finished, what will that child remember of me? How will they remember me, right? And if you ask me, I've had all sorts, okay? I've had teachers that have hit me, they've scolded me, they've caught me, right? They've caught me, whatever, and I was a naughty kid. And just on this point, if you have a challenging child, a naughty kid, what we classify as naughty, challenging, breaking the rules, being the first to dare to do something, being the first to be outspoken, the ringleader, the one that could become the bully, the one that makes everyone else, sort of, jumpy, the one that, when he says something, everyone's saying, yo, if anyone's going to say it, he's going to say it, or she's going to say it. That child, if you have them as a parent, or if you have them as a teacher, how do you feel? Come on, how do you feel?
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed, and how do you feel? Come on, how do you feel?
Stress.
Stressed, and how do you feel? Come on, let me hear it, come on, come on. Let's get it moving. How do you feel?
Out of control.
Out of control, come on, somebody else.
Energy draining.
Energy draining, yes. And how do you, somebody else?
Chef, I actually like that.
Wait. Can you please stop? Stop there. Yes. Angry, and what else? Come on. Withdrawn?
Feel like quitting.
Feel like quitting. Okay, now let me tell you how I feel. That's my best student. I love them. You know why? Because these are born leaders. These are born leaders. If you have a child that just listens to everything, does everything you want to do, which is good, alhamdulillah, we love them. But guess what? They are subordinates of this world. They are there, they'll follow rules, they'll listen to others, that they will try and channel through where things have been made. But the students that you have, children you have that are challenging, you know what? They're my best friends. I used to have a different approach. I used to do exactly what you said. I used to get angry, I used to get frustrated. I wanted to just get them out of the system. Try and do something to get them to exit route. But then I learned my lesson. One day what happened, I'm going to share this with you, and sometimes we need to make mistakes to learn. If you think I haven't made mistakes in my short career, I could call it short career, 20 years I've been teaching, right? It's still short, every day I'm learning. If you think I haven't made mistakes, I've made more mistakes than all of you. Any of you that make mistakes, I've made more mistakes. And I'm actually proud to say that. Because no person ever gets to a good level in any profession without making mistakes. And don't tell me you were perfect first day when you started to do your chapatis. Don't you ever say to me you were the perfect person to make round chapatis and your chapatis didn't come out square. And don't you ever tell me as a driver that the first time you got in a car you were just booming it down, President George Bush highway, right? Without making any mistakes. I love that name, they're so large that even the boards big when they look at it. Okay, so don't you tell me that you were perfect. Don't you weren't. You made mistakes in driving, you made mistakes in whatever it was, you made mistakes in everything. You will make mistakes in parenting, you will make mistakes in teaching. And those mistakes, as long as you look back, you reflect, you think, no, I'm not going to do it again, I've learned from that, that was my mistake, I'm going to now become better. That's what we're going to see. All humans make mistakes. The only ones that Allah has guided so well are the Anbiya alayhim salatu salam. Now to quickly make this point, I want to say to you this. I've made my fair share of mistakes. I got this kid out of the system when I was Safar Academy. And then one day, I was leading Taraweeh there after a few years. And then there was complaints coming from the back. There's some kids that are messing around at the back. And every day they're messing around. So one day, I came late for Isha, so I ended up praying my Isha right at the back where those kids were. And then, I heard them, talking loudly at the back of the masjid. When I finished my rakats, I looked back and I saw a whole group of 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds all gathered together. And there was one ringleader in the middle, and he was the one that was, doing all the magic for them. And when I looked, it was a student that I had thrown out. And that's the day I thought, you know what? I failed. But then I said to myself, you know what? I'm not going to fail again like this. So after that, as many students came that were challenging, that were giving me a hard time, I made friends with them. These are, I'm telling you one thing, these are born leaders. You decide, are they going to be leaders in Islam or outside Islam?
Allah.
That's down to you now. Because they're born leaders. They're going to be leaders wherever they go. If you leave these children right now in the suburbs or the ghettos of America, right, where there's drugs and so on, they definitely will become one of the leading, drug lords, of that area. I will guarantee you that. If you leave them in a prison population, they will control the prison from within. If you leave them in, if you bring them, please switch your phones off, thank you very much. If you bring them into a place where it's Islamic, and you can guide them to become, religious people, they are our best imams you can have. Do you know how many times, I talk about myself, it's live here as well, yeah. Can I say a few crimes on myself?
Sure.
I got suspended from school a few times. I was a person who used to challenge. I used to make teachers sweat.
Astaghfirullah.
Yeah, it's true. I used to make teachers, get so frustrated. They used to have some of the saliva coming up the side of the mouth. They used to froth. Seriously. I had teachers kicking me out of the class, sending me to headmaster. I did all sorts of things. I couldn't do it to my father because my father was Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. Seriously, my father would kill me. He would kill me, and he did beat me up good and well. But you know what? I look back and I say, I needed those sessions. Contrary to what you might say, but I needed some of those disciplinary things. I really needed them. And the thing was, my teacher, even my Hifz teacher, threw me out twice. My Hifz said to me, you'll never become a Hafiz in your life ever. Go, get out of here. And I was so happy. Honestly, I was so happy. I came home, it was like my Eid. I sat down and my dad saying, hey, because my dad saw me once and then he saw me twice after a few months because I did it purposefully. I actually planned this. I went there, I said, you know what, to memorize all of this? I said, I was 8 years old. I had to memorize all of this. I memorized a good few pages, and then everyone had, these targets. And if you didn't meet the target, you get beaten up. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm only on the 10th page, the 20th page. Right? For me to go to 848th page, it's gonna be like I'm gonna be like beaten up like some guy who's ended up as a baddie in a movie or something. I'm gonna be dead. So I thought to myself, how do I get out? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna wind this teacher up so much that he's gonna kick me out. So what happened is I failed it and he beat me up. I failed again, he beat me up. I failed again, he beat me up. And he beat me up, he beat me up. I got so frustrated, he said, don't come back. So I went home and I didn't come back. And then my father said, go over there again. Umar ibn Khattab, right? Go over there. I said, okay, fine, Dad, I'm going back. I went back again, right? And then I got beat again, I said, you know what, I'm going to wind him up and he's going to throw me out. So second time when he said, you'll never become Hafiz ever in your life. He said, get out of here. He said, don't come back in again. And then I went home, I was like my Eid, and my dad said, he threw you out again? I said, yes. So my dad was old school, okay? You guys understand old school? Yeah? You understand?
Yes.
Old school. And you know what he did this time? He went to the Hifz teacher's house, to his Hifz teacher's parents' house. He went to the mother of the Hifz teacher and went inside. He walked inside and he said this. He said, we got a problem. Your son has kicked out my son from Hifz the second time. You tell your son that my son's meat is his, bones are mine. He can do whatever he likes, but my son's got to become Hafiz. And you tell your son, if he kicks my son out again, there's going to be trouble in this town. And he walked out. So now I'm there like I can never leave, But look, I went through a bad phase and so on. In the end, when I went to madrasa, I actually, alhamdulillah, today I'm a Hafiz of the Quran. Right? I actually finished it. Now I can talk a lot about, with what Hassan Fay, has talked about, because I tell you another incident that happened, which kind of struck me. And I might have to go a bit over my time, man. I'm doing quickly. Hey, so let me say these points, man. You guys have resonated some good points. I was in my I was 11 years old in a classroom. So what grade is that? 10, 11 is about sixth, let's just say fifth, sixth grade, okay? So I went to school and my teacher asked me, this is in a normal state school, asked me, what do you do after school? So I said, I go to a mosque. What do you do in the mosque? I said, I'm memorizing a book. She said, you memorize a book? Well, you want to say something? So I read part of it. She goes, wow. She said, okay, now tell me, what does that mean? I said, I don't know. She said, what does it mean? I said, I don't know. She said, what do you mean you don't know? You just said it. I said, I know I said it, but I don't know what it means. You know how bad I felt standing in front of the whole class saying that? And then she quieted the other two classes down. She got the other teacher to notice this, other teacher noticed these are non-Muslims. And she said, this kid is going and he's memorizing a book which he claims is going to be 848 pages. And he's read something to me, but he doesn't know what he's saying. I know what went through me was, yeah, well, yeah, it's true. It's like, why am I doing this, right? Now, don't get me wrong. What I want you to do is this, because I went through the hifz, I did the hifz, I didn't know my Islam. These teachers didn't even teach me Islam. And there's a broken system here. The way to fix it is that I've got a hifz class right now where I am. So I'm in charge of a hifz class. I've got other teachers teaching it. These are differences we made, okay? We have flexibility. We parents say, look, I want my child to do extra homework one day. We say, okay, fine, just text us, all right? There's an understanding. We have dinners with the kids, okay? We have, like, what they love over there is chicken and chips. It's something over here that you have not done. Over there is chicken and chips, okay? So now and again, take the kids out for chicken and chips. With the teacher takes them out, right? Teacher takes them. We have voucher system where when they memorize a certain part, the teacher will actually give them vouchers. Is that like, you know, you could say $30, $40, whatever. They can take it to a shop and they can buy whatever they want for themselves, right, with their parents. We have these kids attending the very syllabus I'm going to talk to you right now about. And all these kids have to go through this system simultaneously with hifz so that they learn their deen. Okay? And alhamdulillah, what I would say, we've had about 5, 6 sort of graduates from the hifz class. And alhamdulillah, I would say that these kids, alhamdulillah, we can see they love Islam, they love the Quran, they love what they're doing. And we don't finish. I mean, I'm not saying anything about Shaykh Hasan Ali or anybody else. We never set a target that you have to finish in 3-4 years. We said as long as it takes, right? Balancing your school studies, balancing what you're doing. You know, some kids are finishing in 7 years, some kids in 6 years. One kid finished in 3-4 years, but some others taking 8 years. No problem. You know, we're with you. And you know, the most important thing I want to say that ties a lot of things that you said, and this is what I learned in my MA Education Psychology is, I never knew this before. I never knew this before, right? And I wish I had known it. I wish my teachers knew this. When you look at a child, or when you look at a student or child, or as Ustad Hassan has said, they're your child, okay? When you look at them, they have 7 lives going on simultaneously at the same time. You only see one. Unless you open your head, you don't see all the other lives they have. So let me give you an idea. Let's say I have a student that comes to me and the student has just performed. Let's say it's an exam, it's a test, or it's a lesson, it's some homework, whatever to do. And I'm thinking, why didn't you do your homework? And you should have completed this, and you're always not completing the homework. What you fail to see is, what you do see is, you see a human there, you see a student there. But what you don't see is, you don't see a child of a family belonging to parents who have their own unique problems. Sometimes these children are coming from parents who are single parents. Sometimes they come from parents that are arguing. And that's going to have an effect on the child. Okay, this child comes from a house with other siblings. Depending on how many siblings or no siblings or what combination of siblings, there's going to be an effect on the child. This child also has friends in school. And those friends have got an influence on the child. That's life number 3. This child has got rules in school, and those rules being so hard or lenient are going to have an effect on the child. That's 4. This child has got a life, right, outside of all of this. When he moves from school and your school, he's got a place outside there where he has other set of friends, and so on. This child has relatives, and those cousins, relatives have an effect on the child. This child has got social media, and the social media has an effect on the child. Okay? This child has got a health life, and that health life is going to affect the child, depending on what they have inside. This child has got, a level of intelligence versus a level of emotion. Okay? So for example, I was, alhamdulillah, I was always confident. I was always confident when I was a kid. And I used to think, why these kids can't do this when I can do it? When I did my education psychology, we understood that, do you know that certain children, they're so good at learning something, but the moment they hear the word exam, their stomachs start to get butterflies. The word test, exam, it kind of makes them feel all awkward. Do you know that IQ, you all know what IQ is, right? Do you know how they measure IQ? Through numeracy and literacy. Do you think that's fine? The whole schooling system, America, Britain, the world, has got IQ measured, and the whole schooling system based on numeracy and literacy. That's the main thing. Yes? Mm-hmm. Yes? Do you think intelligence is in that? We studied intelligence is, for example, intelligence is if I can make art here, and if I can draw something which your mind can't do, that's intelligence. If I'm a politician, or if I'm a person in a normal life, and when you say something, I can be witty with you, that's high intelligence. That's got nothing to do with the IQ test. Intelligence is when I tasted, some people like this. SubhanAllah, I don't know if you've met these. Yeah? Some people, when they taste something, they taste it again, they can go home and they can make the same thing. Ingredient, like for like, they can make it. That's intelligence, right? Intelligence is that you're sitting here, you can read the emotions of people. Yes or no? Right, now let me tell you one thing. This is all to do with the logic, right? Why haven't we ever measured any human being with the amount of love they have? We always measure them with how clever you are, how bright you are, how many test papers you've done, how many marks you got, right? If you had a meter to say, okay, how loving are you? Isn't, you know from the things we just said right now, right? Of who we love, who we like, because of their caring, sharing, love, all that, human qualities, character, akhlaq, is a massive scale in the deen. And we're going over this without even saying that this is actually something that is a treasure. You are the most treasured person if you've got akhlaq. And akhlaq changes in different times. Some people have akhlaq in the masjid but not in the house. Some people have akhlaq, you know what I'm saying? Some people have akhlaq with one child but not with another child. Some people have akhlaq with the wife but not with somebody else. Some people have akhlaq with, the colleagues. Some colleagues are, it changes. Some people have akhlaq during the day, but as soon as they get hungry, akhlaq goes out the window. Seriously. Some people akhlaq goes out the window when they're tired. Some people akhlaq goes out the window when their personal space has been taken up too much, because they're introverts. Some people akhlaq goes out the window because they're not connecting up with people, right? And they're feeling left out. So many things. So anyway, that's a good, I think, how many minutes have I got left now? And I need to say all this stuff because what you guys have said is really goes to the core and to the bone of what we're trying to do. Okay, so now I'm going to go through some of the slides. So I've got, just how long? About 35 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's look at this now. Education is not the filling of a bucket, but the igniting of a spark. Am I going to be with the children all their lives? Some parents, they've completely misunderstood what it is to bring children up. Why are we trying to cater for every occasion of the child? I'll give you a story and you'll understand this. There was a king, right? And the king said this. The king said to his wonderful khadim, going to call it the guy that is looking after him, his serviceman, whatever you want to say, okay? The king said to him, listen, he said, I want to make sure that my feet never get dirty. So what I want you to do is I want you to put a carpet wherever I'm going to walk. So this serviceman had to think, okay, fine. The king's going to walk around there today. I'm going to put loads of carpet out. So he put carpet out. And the next day, king's going to walk around there. So I'm going to put carpet and lay it all around there. Next day, king's going to walk here, put carpet there, carpet there, carpet there. And the guy got frustrated. And he turned around to the king one day. He said, Please, Your Majesty, I've got a really wonderful solution. He said, what? He said, instead of me putting carpet everywhere, why don't you just wear a pair of shoes? Simple. You wear a pair of shoes. You got your own pair of shoes. Now you can go wherever you want without carpet and you're not going to get your feet dirty. The same thing we're doing mistake with our children and our students. You cannot be there for your child in every part of their life that they will never, never, ever make a mistake again. You can't do that. You can't be there for them. Parents go crazy. Oh my God, well, what's going to happen? Oh my God, what's going to happen when my child goes to high school? Oh my God, what's going to happen when they go to college? Oh my God, I'm worried. Oh my God, what do you think? How can I prepare for them? Oh my God, what's going to happen when they link up with social media? Oh my God, what's going to happen when they get married? Will we get the right daughter-in-law? And you worry. Why? If you put the right amount of taqwa inside, gone. And you leave them alone. That's like putting a pair of shoes on. They will go in all their life. You can't stop them from going to some place on a Saturday night with their friends. You don't even know where they are. You can't be there. They're going to hide from you. But if the taqwa is there, the shoes are on. And they're going to save themselves from dirt. And if the shoes are not there, you're going to have a problem. So what we want to do is we want to ignite the spark within them. And not just give them, a whole bucketful. Because that bucketful could be finished tomorrow. Okay, now, looking at some of the stuff, what did we do? Well, we looked at education as a whole thing. I'll give you an idea of, look, everything that I've created actually reflects a lot of the problems I found in my own education. I've got many teachers that I could say, like you said earlier, I didn't like them. Okay? There are multiple reasons why I didn't like them. Right? And I've got some teachers, alhamdulillah, that I love to bits. And why sometimes Allah gives you people in your life that you really don't want? You know why? So that you can never become like them. Do you understand? Whenever you meet a person in life, you're going to meet them for one or two reasons. Either Allah sends you that person to tell you, be like them, or Allah sends you a person to say to you, don't be like them. Alright? So when I'm growing up and I'm going through this whole system, I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to, I used to actually look at some of the adults in my life and I say, when I grow up, I'm not going to do what you've just done. I want to make sure I don't do what you've just done because I don't like it and I'm sure others don't like it. Okay, the other thing is, if you want to know my background, some of you, I'm going to give you a big secret here, okay? Big secret here. Some of you know do you know the Myers-Briggs test? Mm-hmm. The Myers-Briggs test, okay? I'm going to give you a big secret here, right? I come as an INTJ. Right? So INTJ, introvert, intuitive, thinking, and sort of the judging, which literally means a person who likes to actually look at something and they like to systemize it, right? And they like to actually put it all together and they like to actually enhance it. I'm not trying to blow my trumpet or whatever, but I found this out later on. Some of the thinking I had when I was a younger child, I used to think, why do these guys can't sort of, see this or whatever? And later on you understand, look, I'm not perfect, I've got my own mistakes, I've got my failures in life, right? But alhamdulillah, when it came to this curriculum, I took all the pieces. And one great ustad I had was Shaykh Hasan Ali. Okay, there's a whole lecture I've got on YouTube. You can see, it's called My Greatest Inspiration. I would really highly encourage you to see that. He was, subhanallah, he was like, wow. He was the first ustad in my life. You know what I liked him about the most? He was the first ustad in my life that had no contradiction between the books we studied and the life he had. That hit it. Right? All ustads you're going to have, all teachers, even parents and so on, you kind of see, well, hang on a minute, you preach this, the imam preached this, but the text says this, but you're not doing this. And it kind of makes you feel, I'm not sure about that, why did you fail in that? Okay? SubhanAllah, this ustad was, and I will say, I've met only two people like this in my life. One of the Rahimahullah, may Allah give him the highest abode in Aliyin and Jannah. And second person currently in my life is Mufti Rashid Rahman Farooqi from Bangladesh. He's my sheikh. And these two people, there are similar qualities they have. So what I actually will tell you is it's like being in the presence. Look, I'm not going to say they're this person, but it's like being and living the experience of a Sahabi in the presence of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Because these people are selfless. They will smile at you. They'll make you feel comfortable. They will teach you in such a nice way. They will be with you, an embodiment of the sunnah. They will do the nawafil, their rakats, their ibadah. They will have time for people. They will allow people to come. They don't care. They don't judge you for whether you have a beard or you don't have a beard. They don't judge you whether you didn't have a hijab or not. They don't judge you for anything. They are with you as, they look at you as human beings, as souls. They look at you as human beings. They look at you as people. You know, even if they think that you need something, you need a lot of change, their method is they will treat you so nicely that you will immediately fall in love with their ways and with them in a good way, right? For the sake of Allah, you will fall in love with them. And once that happens, right, you will want to actually spend more and more time with them. Once you spend more and more time with them, you've got the suhbah, companionship, and once you've got the suhbah, you become like them, or you're becoming like them, right? That's it, without even them having to instruct you. Anyway, Shaykh Rahim said, Rahimahullah, he said a wonderful thing. He sat with me, and we had a long sort of discussion, and he said, we come to the Darul Ulooms, and we come to these big madrasas, or these are boarding schools where we stay there for about 7-9 years, whereby Mufti Kamani went to one of them, I went to one of them, and so on. So we stayed there for a number of years, and then we graduate, and they call us an alim, or they call us a scholar, okay? So he said, less than 1% of the population comes to these places. 99% of the population out there, they don't go, they don't come to us. They're out there. He said, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could take the best of the 7-year syllabus that we've got, right? The things that boost your iman, and things that make you feel so good about yourself as a Muslim. The things that when you hear from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you say, oh, that's my deen. That's it. That's how it should be. The things in the Quran that make you feel like, you know what, I want to connect with my Lord because I really felt good about it last night. Okay? Those things, he said, wouldn't it be nice to take all of them out and put them into a syllabus for the 99% of the kids that will never come to the Darul Ulooms, never come to the Madaris? He said, wouldn't it be nice? And then he said to me this. He said, what's happened is, you know, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam started to preach, he never differentiated between the fiqh and the spirituality. He never differentiated between it. So where he taught you the salah of khudu' means your outer, your ruku is done properly. Your hands are in the right place. Your subhan rabbiyal azim or your sami Allahu hamdah is done properly. That's khudu'. But then the khushu' is the inner part, right? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam hand in hand gave you both. He didn't separate the two. And what happened is after a while, the departments got so big that they started to separate. They called, this is the fiqh department, you know, and they said, well, that's the ihsan or the tasawwuf department. This is going to be the aqidah department. And they needed to do that. But there was a big problem that happened. Because they split it up, the spiritual essence of all of these things that we do, they were taken apart. And Mawlana Fadl said, he said, we need to bring them back again, together. So he said, where you put something with wudu or something of salah, he said, put the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that talks about the virtues of wudu. That gives you the fadilah of wudu. That tells you that on the day of judgment, your arms are going to be shining, your face is going to be beaming with light because you performed the wudu. That tells you that while you're doing your wudu, your sins are dropping down from your arms, right? So you put them together and then you also tell them how to do wudu. Right? When you say salah, this is how you do it, you put the khushu inside. When you put, for example, the Quran or Aqidah is never supposed to have become a whole set of tenets. Never. Do you know, it's so amazing. You know what Aqidah actually was? Aqidah you all know what I'm talking about when I say Aqidah, right? Yes? Yes? Anyone don't know, put your hands up. It's dogma. It's a set of code of things that we believe in. Now what happened is, where the term Aqidah and the principles came was because there were so many groups out there that they all started to claim this is what the Quran is, this is what the Sunnah is, this is what we believe. The actual believers had to say, well, hang on a minute, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba believe this, and whoever believes this is on the pathway of the Prophet and the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. Whoever doesn't, well, they've got their own ways. That's what it was. But Aqidah was never supposed to be something that you say, okay, if I've got all these tenets, right, then I'm the best Muslim ever. Hang on a minute, these are abstracts. These are just points that are down there. If you look in the Quran never separated Aqidah from Iman. and spirituality. It never separated, for example, you know, like, Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir. If you find that in a place in the Quran, you're going to find the fact that somebody is probably looking for guidance. And Allah then says, well, Allah has power over everything. Something like that. Whatever you find, Allah says, Sami'un Basir, it was because you were about to do an action, all right? An action that Allah is reprimanding you. And then He says, Wallahu bima ta'maluna basir. Allah is overwatching everything that you're doing. You know why they're hand in hand? It's like your action, your mindset, your mindfulness, and the Aqidah belief go all hand in hand. And that's how it's supposed to be. So when we did our books with the Aqidah, we brought the life. And another problem that we hit, okay, I've got how long? I've got 14 minutes. And are you sure you've got 14 minutes? Let's say, no, it's still quarter past. So I've got 25 minutes, man. Come on. Looking at watch here, I've got 25 minutes. So what happens is, you know, we find a problem. You know, the problem today is, if you give people a set of dogma and you say, okay, this is what you're going to learn, this is abstract. They go to the real world, and the real world is something different. Real world will give them arguments that nothing you've ever taught actually corresponds. So where do you have those places where you're going to actually target them from, let's say, for example, the evolution theory, the design argument, the cosmological argument, the things out there that bombard them? Or let's just say, for example, you tell them to become a Muslim and they see a free world there. So how are you going to make this person go through that and still maintain the traditional character and religion in a modern world? That's the challenge, okay? So what we did is, let's go back to this. What we did is, so one of the things was to look at grassroots, okay, and think about the challenges on. If you go to the next slide, okay. So this is a quick timeline, okay. So you know, we started in '98 with about 5 students. We started to grow, and as we grew, we put a budget aside in 2000 and said we're going to create this syllabus. In these 5 years, we really tried to do something, but it started fi sabilillah, and it ended fi sabilillah. You understand that? Everyone who's done fi sabilillah will know this. Anything you start fi sabilillah, one day the guy's going to say, I'm walking off. He says, oh, where are you going? He said, fi sabilillah. He's free. If you don't pay people, you can't get things done, right? Long term, okay? Volunteers are wonderful. You know, we all should volunteer, but you cannot expect someone to volunteer for their life. There are only, illa mashallah, people volunteer for their life, but most people, 99% of people, will not volunteer except, you know, hours or days or weeks. Okay, so then we started to, we had like 250 students. We had our first in-house self-publication in 2008 in black and white. We then had a first sort of private donation. We have taken donations. We're a charity, by the way. We're not here as a business. Suffolk starts with some adult classes, tajweed classes, and I guess in 2010 we increased in capacity, but at the same time now we're going to further books. And by 2012 we moved to our color books. We got editors, we got sub-editors, we even got designers. We went through the full flex. Now, one of the, could I ask you to just bring me the blue bag from there, please? You're going to think, well, how much effort and how much have you put into this? Look, there's been a whole team of people that have worked behind this, and there's also been, just let it go. Yeah. So there's also been everyone who's worked on this, because we've got an academic side and we've got a development side. Okay, the development sits down, they do the research. Research is the most important part of it. It takes us months, it takes us perhaps a year just to find out what's out there, and then to collect all the information and then come back and say, okay, this is the angle that we want to hit. And then when you write it, you've got to go through several edits, you've got to edit it from, you know, a world kind of global political level, then you've got to go right down to the micro level of Muslim sects and the Muslim sectarian sort of, you know, beliefs, and then you've got to still, you know, get to the right sort of level. Okay, so if you move on to the next sort of thing. So we looked at some of this stuff. Okay, so we've got to speak in a language that matters. Okay, we've got to have lifelong learning. We've got to embody this thing. We're going to develop the teachers tomorrow. You know, one thing I said to myself that I really didn't want. You know what I saw when I was young is this. I saw as a child, I grew up in a masjid when the imam did everything. In 2 imams, they did everything. The whole community just looked at the imams for everything. When that imam left, a new imam came and did everything. If the imam passed away, then nobody could do anything. It's like, okay, let's get a new imam inside, and he does everything, right? And I thought, you know what, this is not the sunnah model. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had people for janazas. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had people for qira'ah, teaching qira'ah while he's alive. People are teaching tajweed, halaqas of tajweed in the masjid while Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is alive. People had da'wah, people went and sent letters so that they were given instructions to send letters. People went to Makkah al-Mukarramah to get the news. The people getting news of the threats that are coming. People were there to look at all these, people were there to take the wounded back into the masjid and look after them, okay? Many things Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. So I said to myself, we're going to do the same model, and alhamdulillah, today we've got 90 members of staff. 50 of them are our former students. 50 of them actually went through the system and became teachers. And that should be our thing, that we want to inspire them, we want to make them teachers. We want a holistic curriculum, we want to develop efficiency, we want to have learning beyond the classroom, we want to have a wider context frame, values, approach, base, if you go to the next one. So here you see, look, this is taken out straight out from our book 7, okay, a post 9/11 world. We're gonna be ready for them. So that's the workbook. It's okay. I think they'll see the books together later on. So they're going to be relevant. So there are a lot of challenges that they will come across. So this is just one of them. If you go to the next slide. So here, look, you can see this individual sitting here. Right? It looks like a typical YouTube video. Someone there with a thobe, whatever, hand up, and with books behind him, and he's preaching, without mentioning any extremism, without mentioning anything that's going on. We actually have got a whole section on how to navigate through the internet, keep yourself safe online. Because from these things today, these are relevant. You won't find these in most books you look at, which is you've got images there, you've got the text there, you've got everything based on Quran Sunnah. There's not a single story that we've made. Like you can say, okay, Maryam went to the shop, she got some sweets, she came back home, and then she never shared it with her brothers. It's a fine, it's a nice moral. You're trying to teach how she should share in the end, but it's not from the Quran Sunnah. What we did is every single story, everything has been taken direct from the Quran Sunnah, every hadith, everything's backed up with that. So now we want them to navigate through that. Now look at this side here. The world has become about selfies, likes, followers. This guy standing here has got so many followers, he thinks he's it, right? This world is made of this right now. Their world is about YouTube. Their world is about them, thinking, my kid said this, you're going to laugh at this. My kid said, the last time I came to America, he said, Dad, I want to go to America. I said, why do you want to go to America? He said, because that's the land of the YouTubers. I said, what are you talking about, land of the YouTubers? He said, yeah, there's this YouTuber, there's a gamer, he's got this many thousand followers, he's making money, through this, and the good thing is I allow my children to speak to me. Let him speak what he wants, and slowly with the hikmah, you've got to sort of, get them to where they want. So yeah, he's the land of the YouTubers, I'd love to go there. Look at his mind. He's never been to America, but America to him has come through technology, and he's seen that YouTubers are making serious money, sitting there and just playing games, and others watch them, and they subscribe to watch them, right? If you go to the next slide. Oh, sorry, if you go back to the last slide, this is really important, look at this. Instagram, let's read the one above. More than 2.5 million 13 to 17-year-olds using Facebook in UK, and usage is also becoming common amongst younger ages. Okay, Instagram revealed it had 14 million monthly active users in the UK back in July 2015. Obviously, you guys are going to have a lot more. Instagram has a younger audience than Facebook, with 39% of its UK users aged 16 to 24. Also slightly female skew, with 64% of Instagram users being female compared to 56% on Facebook. Now these are things, these are where they are, these are the worlds, okay? Their worlds are not in your masjids. Unfortunately, we need to put them in the masjid. Next slide, please. All right, now, we need more than academic skills. We need to look at the challenging wider issues, okay? So these are some things to do with our UK thing. I'm sure you've got the same thing here. So you've got the RE out there, you've got the SRE, which is sex and relationship education, you've got the humanities, arts and science. These are part of the life. You've got what we have in the UK is spiritual, moral, social, cultural development. So we've incorporated all of this from an Islamic point of view in our lessons. Okay, you've got your financial literacy, you've got life and relationship skills, okay, because youngsters, they might read, the Quran says don't commit zina. Are you not going to make it real for them and tell them what happens, the feelings, the emotions, what is it to fall in love, what happens when you do fall in love, how sweet love can be, but how bitter it can be as well. Okay? Some of you are like, I love my husband, I love my wife. I don't think they're bitter. No, it's got two sides. Love is very bittersweet. It's very bittersweet. Right? It's lovely. But sometimes you hate it. Okay, now let's move to the next one. Okay, so now look at these questions, okay? So these questions now are going to go through some of the things we're trying to address. Now, we haven't yet targeted every one of these questions, but our intention is to target as many as we can. Now, we might not be able to target it direct, but what you're going to see, inshallah, is that if they have the shoes on, remember the story I gave you about the king? If you can put the shoes on, then they should be able to navigate through all of this. This is today's world. Some of the questions come up. For example, my friend is gay. Another one, I don't think God exists. Another one, my friend is a good person, why will they go to hell? Next one, each person should choose how to live their life. That's liberalism. Next one, people should keep religion to themselves. Liberalism. Gender reassignment, if they want to change gender, for example. Gender interaction, why can't we just be how we want to be with the opposite gender? Next one, can I be famous and rich? Next one, why can't I listen to rap music? Next one, religious festivals or schools or work, for example, Christmas, Easter, Halloween, why can't we just engage in all that and just be part of the society and so on? Next one, interaction, friendship with people of other faiths and non-faiths. Next one, celebration, birthdays, anniversaries. And next one, politics. You've got the J word there. I'm scared to even say it here, man. You guys put red tape on me, yeah? The J word, the ICE word. ICE word, I like that. Extremism and terrorist incident. It's true. There's a real world out there that these children, they go to school and they say, you're a Muslim, you're a terrorist. Right? Now, how do we navigate them through the world where they feel confident about their religion? We know 99% of, 99 point probably 9% of the Muslims have never, I will never think of anything to do with terrorism, will never think of anything to do with extremism, but yet the media today has portrayed it in a way that people believe that we've all got something that they might dislike. But that's not the world. But what will happen to our children in that world? Next slide, please. Was there two slides that I've just gone through of those questions, or was it one? There was a second one that might come up or might have deleted. Okay, go to the next. So if you go to the next slide, after this. So look, we've got workbooks. We try to make our workbooks such that they have to think outside the box. It's not just about the classroom. They have to be questioned about what's happening outside there in the real world. And we've got standard level, we've got advanced levels in our workbooks. So each book will come with kind of a workbook, and in there we've challenged the children. Bloom's taxonomy has become a massive part of our thinking in this, and we've applied it to it. If you go to the next slide. Next one, yeah. Next.
We like you.
Okay, we love you too. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to round it off to some things. I'm going to see what's it. Did I say 10 minutes to me? Just over 10 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna wrap it up with this. Look, the books that we've done, they're not just the Islamic studies. We have built an entire curriculum. We want you to take it by the scruff of the neck, and if you just leave me, I'll just show you some as I'm talking, inshallah. We want you to take it by the scruff of the neck. We didn't want to just do Islamic studies. There's a part which is to do with Islamic studies, right? Some of the stuff that I've spoken about. There's a part to do with du'as and surahs. With that, we've also launched an app, okay? This app is available right now on iOS. It will be available for probably about a week's time on Android. Okay, what happens is children go home and they're able to play the sections they need to memorize. They listen to them, and they have a qari that says they can repeat the lines. They've got the English there, they've got the virtues there. So it's like a home learning thing. Now, it's not just for children. A lot of adults are learning through these books, the Islam. I'll tell you why they're learning the Islam through this. We've had a number of adults that are learning the Islam through this. You know why? If you look at these pages, they're very simple, right? The language is very simple. If you ever walk into a bookstore, the highest book that sells is the Dummy's Guide. You know why? Not because people are dumb, But people find those dummies guides so simple, so easy to understand, that they actually start reading it without showing the front cover to you. Okay? Right? And I love some of those dummy guides as well. If you pick up from the shelf, I just don't buy them because I'm thinking, man, I'm going to walk into the dummy's guide, right? But the thing is that what we find is a lot of adults are learning their thing from this. We've got a lot of parents are teaching their own children. Maybe you might not see that your child in Islamic school is taking these up. We've got hundreds and perhaps thousands of parents now that are taking these books, and the children are going to these madrasas or the schools or Islamic schools, weekend schools, whatever, but they kept these books so that they can actually go through the contents of these books, because we've got multi-layers. Everything that they learn will be, through several multi-layers. So, for example, I'll give you an example. In grade 1, they... Just wait for the adhan to finish.